Well, as tension continues in Kashmir, Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti met Prime Minister Modi to discuss the latest situation in the valley. Speaking to the media after her meet with the Prime Minister, Mehbooba Mufti slammed Pakistan for fueling unrest in the valley. Meanwhile, Islamabad continues its provocation. In the latest, Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has now appointed 22 MPs to raise the Kashmir bogey at an international platform. Take a look at this report.
अभी पिछले दिनों में जबकि कश्मीर में इतने हालात खराब हुए और पाकिस्तान खुल के उन हालात को ठीक करने के बजाय उसमें कोशिश कर रहे थे ज्यादा प्रोवोकेशन हो.
Jammu and Kashmir CM Mehbooba Mufti lashing out at Pakistan for fueling unrest in the Kashmir Valley after meeting PM Modi at his 7-hour CR residence. But Pakistan won't end its Cape provocations. In his latest dare, Nawaz Sharif has appointed 22 Pakistani MPs to raise the Kashmir bogey at the international platform. As Pakistan continues to fuel the Kashmir fire, its envoy ducked questions on its terror policy of sheltering India's most wanted terrorist, Dawood Ibrahim, even while inviting PM Modi for the SAARC summit.
सर दाऊद के 6 ठिकाने मिले पाकिस्तान में. सर दाऊद के 6 ठिकाने मिले पाकिस्तान में, ऐसा आरोप लग रहा है सर. सर ये बात पुरानी हो गई है.
And the terror masters aiding the Pakistani establishment at every step. Here the 2611 mastermind adding to the provocations from Pakistan.
जिस तरह कश्मीर के अंदर आज पाकिस्तान का झंडा उठाया जा रहा है, आज इंडिया के बहुत सारे इलाके हैं जिनके अंदर इंडिया में, कश्मीर नहीं, इंडिया में लोग पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद के नारे लगा रहे हैं, पाकिस्तान के झंडे उठा रहे हैं.
But Delhi won't accept dialogue on Islamabad's terms. It's time Pakistan's reign of terror ended in POK and Balochistan too. The Kashmir fire and the opposition's fury, Pak-backed hawks in the valley continue to foment unrest.
What is the government doing? The government is not doing anything. And let me quote again ex-Raw Chief. He said that this government talks about Vajpayee, but it does not implement what Vajpayee had done when as a Prime Minister he had initiated talks with everyone, including separatists. So dialogue is the only way forward.
It's been 50 days of unrest, and in fresh clashes, one youth was killed in Anantnag district, while a cop was shot dead by terrorists in South Kashmir's Pulwama. The valley needs a soothing balm and fast. It's time talks are replaced with action on the ground. With Shujaul Haq, Bureau Report, India Today.
Joining us on the broadcast now is Major General Shankar Prasad, a defense expert, as well as Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, who's joining us from Pakistan. Major General Shankar Prasad, to you first. Pakistan, do you feel, has been clearly cornered today? Because on one side, time and again, in fact, we've seen Pakistan raising Kashmir and trying to rattle India over the same. But now we're seeing the Balochistan, there's a stronger voice coming out on that front, and that has left Pakistan really cornered.
You're absolutely correct. If you recall, some years ago when General Musharraf was at the helm of affairs in Pakistan, he had categorically mentioned that the stand that Pakistan wants United Nations to take is irrelevant today. Therefore, the matter is completely out of context. Today, the situation in Pakistan is one of complete chaos. They do not know which way to go. On the one hand, they are fomenting trouble in Kashmir Valley, inducting people as terrorists, inducting money, inciting people to break law in Kashmir, supporting the separatists, and all the other activities of which the government of India has identified something like 400 people who are involved. If you heard the Chief Minister of Kashmir, she said just about 5%, if at all, more than 95% people are for peace and dialogue. Anyway, that's one part. But the second part of your question, which is about the 22 MLAs being deputed by the Prime Minister of Pakistan to go all over the world, is something that is indicative of some kind of a kind of a problem in that in the decision making. On the one hand, the military and the ISI is doing their work. On the other hand, the political part and the elected government wants to kind of soothe the events. You know, whether it's America, whether it is UK, whether it is Russia, and even to a great extent China, have all said that stop terrorism.
Yes.
Terrorism cannot be tolerated. And all those friends of Pakistan, so-called, the Americans give them aid. The Chinese have a huge project in the China-Pakistan corridor, trade corridor of 46 million. Now, even those friends are now talking about Pakistan sponsoring terrorism.
There's no doubt really, sir, whether, how Pakistan uses terror as a state policy, that is out in the open globally as well. Let's get in a word from Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed as well. Sir, at this point, how can Pakistan really afford to preach about human rights with what's happening in its own backyard? You know, we're seeing Nawaz Sharif come out time and again and speak about Kashmir. Why doesn't he speak about Balochistan? Why doesn't he speak about the agitations that we're witnessing across the world, not just in POK or in Pakistan for the matter? Today we witnessed protests happening in Germany.
You see the quantum of the protests in Europe, though there are protests at numerous places, but look at the strength of the protest and then compare it with the strength of protest which is taking place against India in places like Birmingham and in different places in Canada and USA and in different parts of Europe. So you can realize from the strength of those protests that which is genuine protest and which is the protest which is tailored or made up.
No, so are you talking about the fact that we go by what's true based on the strength of protest, based on the number of people out on the streets? Because we've got innumerable proof, we've got innumerable videos showing of the kind of atrocities happening in Balochistan. Are you saying that there's absolutely none of that happening?
No, the videos that you show irrelevant videos. You show videos of Swat, videos of Karachi by labeling them absolutely differently, and you show arrest of unarming of you doctor those videos. You are yet to show a video of a place anywhere in Balochistan. I can show you the formation signs of the soldiers. I can show you the type of uniform that the Rangers and the Frontier Corps wear. They have got different uniforms.
This is wishful thinking almost to say that we've doctored videos. We'll put out the footage even if you need, sir, for you to see exactly the extent of violence we're talking about. We're not just talking about one or two people. There are rows of people being kept together, being beaten up.
Talk about.
Go ahead, Major General.
Yeah, you see, let the Colonel Saab know that even the elected leaders of Balochistan, Mr. Mufti, has been talking about it.
Yes.
Has been talking about for a very long time of the kind of atrocities that are being imposed on the people in Balochistan. You look at the kind of rigging of election that take place in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. You look at the kind of development that is taking place in these areas. Look at the type of exploitation the government of Pakistan does in these two states, whether Balochistan or Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. So it is very evident. Whether it's doctored or not doctored is something that somebody else can decide. But the fact is, the truth of the matter, their own people who live there, their own leaders who live there. Mr. Mehbooba lives in Balochistan. He goes abroad and says these things. So where are we to go? I mean, there is a local leader who's making a world statement.
Absolutely. Major General, going along that, also taking it forward, what Prime Minister Modi has said about Balochistan, it's opened a corridor of sort. We've seen so many activists now coming out and speaking out about the violence. I'll come to you, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat, in a bit. Give me a bit, sir. Let's just finish this one point. Do you think it was a masterstroke on the part of Prime Minister Modi to really pull this up, to show Pakistan its place, Major General Shafqat Prasad?
And this masterstroke is going to go a long way in the
the initiative taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the initiatives taken. No, 1 minute. Colonel Saab, 1 minute. She's asking me a question, let me answer.
Colonel Saab, just hold on. We'll come to you. I'll give you a chance to speak as well. I'll give you a chance. Just hold on, sir.
It may be a mistake from your point of view.
General Prasad, go ahead.
It may be a mistake from your point of view, Colonel Saab. Let me answer the question which the anchors asked me. You see, the Prime Minister of India is leaving no stone unturned to have initiative after initiative. He goes to Lahore, as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Our Home Minister goes there despite the very poor conditions that are existing between the two countries. Every effort is being made. Today, the Prime Minister of India is very clearly known in the world as a very well-known statesman in the world today who's trying to have peace with Pakistan. And we want to have dialogue. He has only said today to the Chief Minister of Kashmir that dialogue is a way forward. And we want to have dialogue. We want to have dialogue with all stakeholders, whether inside Kashmir or outside Kashmir. He's even gone to the extent of saying we want to send intercollators to Kashmir Valley who are part of all political parties to find a solution to the Kashmir problem. While these things are going on of initiative of talks and dialogues to bring down the tempers in Kashmir, let us not forget that if there is lawlessness, action will have to be taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He cannot have his soldiers being killed day in and day out. You had one policeman killed today, and that cannot be tolerated.
All right. Colonel Said, your view. Colonel Said, your reaction.
Which is of dialogue and a policy which has to be responded by strength as well.
Is that Mr. Modi Saab is trying to control his domestic problems by bringing in Balochistan. And he is trying to...
many would say the same to your Prime Minister, Mr. Nawaz Sharif, as well, Mr. Said, considering the way he's pulled up Kashmir. He refuses to speak on Balochistan. Why doesn't he break his silence on that before speaking about human rights violations in India?
You look at the level of popularity of Prime Minister Modi today.
I know the popularity for that, to keep that popularity in place. He has to raise the
and look at the kind of developmental activities that are taking place in India.
And if anybody speaks,
look at the kind of development activities that are taking place under him.
Truth speaking is an anchor or a politician. He is labeled traitor in India. Anybody who is in opposition to Mr. Modi is a traitor. The whole media is doctored and controlled. Everything is in his hand at the moment.
Which media tells you this?
Of Pakistan. So that is not going to serve him.
He is the Prime Minister of India. He's got to run this country.
Mr. Modi has done mistake after mistake, which you call initiative.
Colonel Saab, out of the 95-minute speech from the Red Fort,
his biggest mistake is raising Balochistan.
Colonel Saab,
and why is that? Why do you think it's a mistake, Colonel Said, that when the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif raises Kashmir, you think that it's a step forward, but when the Prime Minister raises his concern over the human rights violations in Balochistan, it's suddenly the biggest mistake you could have made.
It is unfinished agenda of 1947. It is in Shimla Accord, it is in
let's ask the Colonel Saab, out of the 95 minutes that the Prime Minister speaks from... Colonel Saab, out of the 95 minutes that the Prime Minister speaks from Red Fort on the Independence Day, 90 minutes are devoted to development. Every possible aspect of development is under the direct directions of the Prime Minister Modi. He is looking at development. Your Prime Minister is not looking at development. I have not heard him say anything about development because he's only worried about Kashmir. He's got no other issue. Whereas as far as we are concerned, Kashmir is an issue. There is a problem there that needs to be resolved, but not at the cost of development in India. Please look at, without bias, Colonel Saab, the policy of our Prime Minister. The policy of our Prime Minister is this: Kashmir will be handled the way it needs to be handled. We will take all efforts to see what needs to be done. But the bigger agenda of the government of India today under the Prime Minister is to do development. He wants to bring up the level of education, wants to bring up the level of health services, communication, electricity, water, you name.
Opinion that you have been trying to cap in India, you will not be able to cap it continuously. This is going to burst open like a erupt out. This truth is going to erupt, and Mr. Modi is going to come down, and then you would tell me that what all he has been doing, and this media would tell me what all he has been doing. And I know the background of this man. I know that this man could not go to any foreign country.
I think Lieutenant Colonel Said, we're completely straying here from the topic. We're completely straying here from the topic. You seem to have taken this as an opportunity to unabashedly attack Prime Minister Modi. The issue that we're talking about here is the fact that Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is the one who's issued a statement. He's the one who's provocated along the lines of Kashmir.
This man is behind it. Mr. Ajit Doval and this Narendra Modi Saab are behind
whatever, that's your view. If you look at the unbiased...
And this is going to come out. This is going to come out.
If you look at the unbiased reporting by international media...
I tell you, Mr. Nawaz Sharif is very humble man.
I give him all the good luck to do that. But Colonel
Because there are
Saab,
many within
look at the
Pakistan
way-
who don't
Colonel
really
Saab,
share
look at the
your
way
view,
the
Colonel
international
Said, and that
media
is
is
really
treated.
the problem.
Look at
The
the way the
problem.
international media
No,
is treating
yes,
the Prime Minister of
sir.
India. He is perhaps rated as the best Prime Minister in the world today.
Let's not get into
You look at
a
the
battle of
magazines that
prime
carry out
ministers here.
survey
Let's not
and
get
give
into
a
a battle
rating.
of prime ministers here.
People don't say
Major General
Okay, let's
Shankar
keep that
Prasad.
out. Let's-
Exactly.
let's
Let's just
focus back
hold
on
on. Let's just hold
Balochistan.
on for a second.
Let's
Let's just hold on for a
Let's focus back
second.
on Balochistan.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What
So just
Balochistan?
one question to you. Just one question to you, Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat. For a second, if you can let me speak. For a second, if you could let me speak.
Their throats for any thinking and presuming that it might have taken leave someday.
Lieutenant Colonel
No,
Said,
please
for a
attend
second,
to
if you
that.
could just listen to my question. I just have one question to put across to you. Yes, you've said that Prime Minister Modi is the one who's rattled relations between India and Pakistan. You've blamed Prime Minister Modi a number of times. You've said that Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is very dedicated to the agenda at hand. But at the same time, why doesn't he speak out about the kind of violence is going on in Balochistan? If there are protests breaking out worldwide, as a Prime Minister of Pakistan, isn't it his responsibility to speak out on that rather than butt in and speak about Kashmir, which is none of his business?
Ma'am, there is no violence going on in Balochistan. The problem is that Mr. Modi is thinking of complete Indian
No. Let's not make it almost seem like Prime Minister Modi is the first person to have ever spoken about Balochistan. Let's not make it down to that.
Coming to India, everybody knows it, and the Defense Secretary of the United States has
Let us
said it
talk
on
about
record.
the
If you're going to be in denial, Lieutenant Colonel Said, we really cannot have a conversation here because this is just utter denial that you're in. I'm going to now take a question to Major General Shankar Prasad as well. Major General, is this really the root of the problem? That Pakistan denies what's happening in Balochistan and yet focuses all its attention in internal affairs of India?
He is trying to
See,
overcome.
it is very clear today, and all of us heard it. The Chief Minister of Kashmir has openly said on record today that it is Pakistan who's supporting this terrorism in Kashmir. All of it is available to everybody. Her speech is available on television. Colonel Saab can have a look at it. No, ऐसे बात मत करिए Colonel Saab, एक मिनट. देखिए, आज आप देखिए जो मुफ्ती मैडम मुफ्ती ने कहा है, चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान.
जनरल साहब, मैं आपको
आप दिखाइए, मुझे अवश्य दिखाइए. मैं आपसे सिर्फ ये कह रहा हूँ.
प्लीज ये ब्लेम गेम से निकल आए. प्लीज समझें अपने मुल्क
मैं
को
उसको कॉन्टेस्ट नहीं. इस वक्त बात कीजिए, इस समय बात कीजिए कश्मीर की. देखिए, इस समय बात कीजिए. We must talk about and focus on the problems in Kashmir, which are
Okay, all right. I'm running out of time here. Essentially, what we're looking at is that the Pakistan Prime Minister once again has made it clear that he's going to raise Kashmir on a global platform, even as questions are continuing to be raised about the violence in Balochistan. I've completely run out of time for the moment. Major General Shankar Prasad as well as Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Said, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. Many will really question what the Pakistan Prime Minister is trying to do here, considering, of course, that he's raised the Kashmir issue time and again. This isn't really the first time, but he's refused to speak out on the violence in Balochistan, and there is global pressure now on him to speak out.